What's up, everybody? Kelly Michaels here, and in this video I want to address the topic of men using women. And what brought it to my attention was I recently watched a documentary called What Happened, Brittany Murphy. So as you're coming in, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and let's get busy. Now, Brittany Murphy was an actress who had some pretty good roles in some pretty big movies. She had appeared in the movie Clueless. She was Eminem's girlfriend in the movie 8 Mile, and she was in the movie Girl Interrupted with Angelina Jolie. And these roles allowed her to accumulate a mini fortune. Now, Brittany Murphy unfortunately passed away in 2009 at the very young age of 32 under some very suspicious circumstances, okay? And in the years leading up to her death, she had made some very questionable relationship decisions. Now, let me start with, she dated Ashton Kutcher. I'm not counting him as one of them. But in 2002, which would have put her at about age 25, she dated Ashton Kutcher, who we know from Punk'd and that 70s show. And when it was over, he told a source, "I had never met anyone who wanted to be married so badly." Which means she was now in that zone of desperation. And that's a dangerous place for you ladies to be, because when you're in that zone of desperation, you start inviting men into your atmosphere who you normally would not give the time of day, all right? And your vision gets skewed a bit because you start to see these men as more than what they really are. So in a very short time frame after Ashton Kutcher, Brittany Murphy got engaged to an older man. That didn't work out. Then, not long after, she got engaged to a younger man who she met on a movie set. He was like a low-level assistant. And then, within months of that engagement ending, she met the man who ultimately would become her husband, and that man's name was Simon Monjack. Now, he passed himself off, sold himself as a writer-director. Technically, he was. He had been a part of a couple of projects. But for all intents and purposes, he was unemployed. And he came with a bunch of lies. He told her he was a billionaire. Not true. He had 2 kids in Europe that he never told her about. He had immigration issues. He had some legal issues. Okay, I mean, he was actually even using her money to pay for private school for one of those kids in Europe. And when he got together with her, she had about $3 million. He took over her whole life. She became his job. He took over a role of manager, agent, publicist, and he spent basically $1 million a year because at the end of the relationship, all the money was gone. Now, a friend tried to sit Brittany Murphy and her mom down and tell her about this guy. And you know what? They didn't want to listen. They said, "No, we roll with Simon. We don't want to hear what you have to say." Now, crazy enough, Simon died 5 months after Brittany Murphy in the same house. And the mom, Brittany Murphy's mom, tried to take some of the jewelry he bought, thinking she could at least get maybe a couple of $1 million. She took it to a couple of jewelers in Beverly Hills and come to find out that the jewelry was worthless. And that's when it finally hit her, the sociopathic con man that Simon Monjack was. The jewelry was worthless. There was no real estate investments. He just had been scheming and using her daughter the entire time. And I think this video is important because some of you ladies are being used right now by men under the guise of you're showing somebody love. And I get it, because who really wants to sit and say, well, somebody's using me right now? It's just easier to say I'm helping somebody, or this is, again, my way to express love. And it's okay to give people a shot and date different people. That's fine. We get to know people. But what I'm saying to you ladies is you need to parachute out of these situations before your lives get too entangled up with marriages and babies and properties. Because when those things come into the picture, it makes separation much harder. I've never got myself in a situation like that. I guess I've just always been hypersensitive to red flags, maybe to a fault even. But I have to say that someday I would like to know what it's like to fall so completely for someone that I don't recognize they're taking advantage of me. Must feel really good for that instant before it all comes crashing down. Anyway, pick up the book when you can. Links are in the description box and the comment section as well. If you have something you want to say about this topic, the comment section is all yours. If you have a personal story you want to share, you can email that to me. My email is in the description box as well. I'm Kelly Michaels. Thank you for checking me out. Till next time.